part of like DJing for me is, like I said, I play for people it's about a groove. It's not about scratching technique. It's about the way I want people to feel. So I try to always tell a story through music.
All right, so everybody, we are doing these on-one master classes, and today I get to sit with my good friend Derek Jones, also known as the legendary DNice. My name is DNice. Hey, yes, and today we are going to learn how to DJ from the dopest DJ in the world who just hosted the biggest party in the world. How many times did you say that on Instagram Live the other day? But it's just gonna
Oh no, I was
it's
just
gonna be fun.
excited. I was excited because I had never seen anything like it. Like even though it said that there was 100,000 people in there, you have to multiply that because most people aren't on their phones. So we're talking like millions of people were like partying with us, and it was just amazing to see and feel and experience.
Yeah, well, it was incredible to see because I think we were even talking yesterday about the things that you've DJ'd for me, like something as small as like a brunch that I'm hosting with, other friends to honor people in diversity and all the many BET parties you've done. And like for folks to finally give you your flowers and your due just because you were doing something you love is so dope. So
No, it was really good.
so
Really
why
dope.
did you decide to try something out like that could be so risky? For example, I'm not gonna throw any shade, but there were some other folks who, felt led to copycat after you started doing this, right? And I was like just going to see. I was like, let me just see what they're doing. I go in there's like 21 people. It's like 32 people. It's like three. I was like, oh, they're doing this for themselves because they love it. But you ended up really getting traction. And part of me really believes that was because your intent was so pure. So can you talk a little bit about why you decided to do the biggest party in the
Well,
world?
I decided to do it because I was sitting here home alone, pretty much in this exact spot, and I was feeling a little bit lonely and wanted to connect to my friends. So I decided to play some music in an Instagram chat, in an IG live, and it initially started out with a few of my friends. I mean, few is three, but some of my friends. There's around 200 of us, and we just had a blast. And then they started to invite people and invite other people, and then they invited more people, and then it grew from the 200 that pretty much stayed in there all day to, I mean, the last Sunday, the last big party we did was like 165,000 people. Well, at least it represented 165,000 people streaming at one time, but it was just beautiful, man. I'm so
So
excited to be
incredible.
able to share this kind of music with the world.
Yeah, it's so incredible. And then to be in there for some of the milestones, like I remember when you got to 100,000, you kept naming people like it was almost like being in a real club, which by the way I hate. So that says a lot because I wanted to stay at that club. Um, but one of the things that was dope is like when you saw people in there who you really admire or respect, you shouted them out. Is there one person that came into the party any day that you held it where you were like, okay, I have made it? Like, what moment did you feel like, okay, now this is really dope?
So we did have like some notable people in there,
You
like
really
Angela
did.
Rye. We had Joe Biden. We had Bernie Sanders, and of course the former First Lady Michelle Obama. But I think the one person where I was like extremely shocked was Lionel Richie. It was like,
That's
how does
dope.
Lionel Richie even know about me? So that one caught me off guard. Like Lionel Richie, and then another one would be The Rock,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Rock joined in, and he was like, "Man, you're doing such a good job with this." So that was, I think those two people are like tied for me. For one, Lionel Richie is just Lionel Richie,
Yeah.
and then The Rock, it's like, I mean, he's The Rock. Like
Hmm.
I've never met him in person, so the fact that he was actually in my IG live was like, yeah, that was pretty big for me.
That's amazing. I love that so much. And Stevie Wonder came in. You played some Stevie Wonder songs. Like, you, that was, yeah. Anyway, it was incredible. So, you know that I have been hounding you since before this, by the way, to learn how to DJ. And I know that this is not my calling, but I'm slightly competitive. So, I want to learn how to at least be, dangerous Dangerous on the iPhone because I ain't got no ones and twos. So what do I do?
Man, so like using, I don't know if you can see the controller much.
I can.
Maybe I can.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh no, I want to see even more. That's good.
So I have everything here. So these devices here, this is controlling my microphone. Before I used to, it's kind of similar to the way we're doing it now. But like now I have the capability to plug it directly in my iPhone. So like the sound quality is going to be amazing starting today. But for this purposes, I can't plug it into Skype with all of this stuff. So this is man, this AV streaming mixer is awesome. I have the microphone plugged into it, so of course you have all your faders here and reverb. I can just have some fun as if I were like DJing in the club. This is an incredible DDJ 1000 controller. So for you, if you were learning how to mix, this would actually be a great device because there are no needles, like nothing's gonna skip, and you can set cue points. So if you're DJing, you can set a cue point to, like, if you want to start on the top of the kick, like the first kick drum or the first snare, and long as you like, I'm not, put it this way, I'm not a turntablist. I'm not really into like scratching too much because most women don't really care about scratching, and I like to DJ for women.
I want to scratch just so that I can say I can, but I hear you.
Yes, well, I don't scratch like that. It's pretty. I mean, you can scratch on these, but I'd rather scratch with records.
Yeah.
But for what I'm doing, and what I do in the clubs in terms of like this feeling, you always use. Well, you have right here. You have your tempo controller. So I always beat match. So if I'm playing a record on the right side, and it's 98 beats per minute, and I want to mix it, I want to blend it, I will like use this if the song is like the song on this side is like 82 beats per minute, you would speed it up so it can beat match, and then you can blend with it based on. There's so much going on over here. Hold on, let me just try and show you.
This is so cool.
I've actually never done this before. So, all right, so here we go. So we have this incredible device here where you have all these controls, and the one thing about mixing records is that when you're trying to like mix and you want it to sound good, most times like if you have like two records playing at the same time, it will sound like noise. But you can use some of these knobs to change the frequency. So if I'm blending the two records and I only want the drums from the song on this side, not this side, but I still want the singing to be playing, I'll just turn this knob, which is like your low end knob. I can't even see that really. Of course, we're doing this on Skype, so we're still having fun. But you can use your low end knob to like change, like, reduce the sound of the bass, and it will make blending records a lot easier and sonically it would be a lot greater than if you were just to have records, playing both at the same time, because it usually would sound like a mess. Can you still see me?
No, it froze on the board. Oh, there you go. Okay. So the last thing I saw was the fader. Do you call it a fader board? What do you call it?
So this is the mixer. This is this one controller, but this centerpiece is the mixer. Okay. And so the mixer has like all of your where you can control like the frequencies. Your EQs are here in the center. You control like you can change certain buttons. I wish I had the ability to like really show you.
I can see the buttons.
But I want you to see what they actually look like. And if I switch the camera around, I tried. Yeah, but yeah, it's just amazing when you can use these features, because like part of like DJing for me is, like I said, I play for people to it's about a groove. It's not about scratching technique. It's about the way I want people to feel. So I try to always tell a story through music and through mixing records together. So I don't go from like hardcore records to something super soft and fun and sexy. If the crowd that's in front of me loves sexy music, I'm trying to find songs that pretty much flow, and the words flow, and like it's about love, and it's a loving feeling, and you feel it in your heart. And it's definitely important to be able to have like all of these like knobs to make it sound sonically good. During the mixing, all of the music pretty much comes from a program that we use on the laptop called Serato
Wow.
DJ Pro.
Uh-huh.
So on Serato DJ Pro, I can actually bring this a little closer to you because we're not playing music. So in Serato DJ Pro, you have two sides. You have your left and your right side, which represents the record that you're playing on one side and the song that you're about to play. So you have these two sides, right? So you have your left side and your right side. Um, if I'm playing something on the right side, I can always throw a song here to prepare, just hold to be that next song that I'm about to play. The beauty of this mixer is with this fader, as long as you keep it on the right side, you will never hear what's going on the left side until you mix it over and you start blending it in. So that's part of the mixing side of it. And you know, you have all, like I said, you have all of these cue points. I wish I could.
Wait, so Derek, let me ask you this. So,
yes.
You said that when you play music, it's about how you want the audience or the room to feel. Is there like, does that mean like you have to be a good DJ, you have to be selfless? Like, you're like, oh, I know what I'm about to play you my favorite song. Like, that can't be the thing. Or is that the thing? Do you figure out a way to make your favorite their favorite?
So what I've learned recently because of my viral parties, I've learned that I don't have to, if people know who you are and they trust you, you can pretty much play what you want if they trust you. So this was an important lesson for me. Most times I would DJ based on body language. So if I'm looking at one person and I have eye contact with that person and that person stops dancing, then to me, I feel like I need to then switch up the vibe. And that's all, most DJs probably feel that way. Like if no one's dancing, you change the vibe. What I've learned by not having an audience in front of me and just playing music where no one can request a song, and to look at the amount of people that are still there and leaving hearts and putting hearts up and the hearts are flowing and leaving these comments and lyrics means that if they trust you, they're going to ride with you and you can lead them into the right direction. So I have the ability of, I have great music sensibility, I will say that. Like I really do believe, I understand like how to keep the groove going the right way. And now I have the ability to do what I want. I really believe that this was a moment like this while we're like quarantined was supposed to happen for me.
Wow.
That way I can truly be who I am and not have to worry about, you know, if someone's not dancing. Because I've seen all of the videos that people were posting and tagging me on, and they're dancing in the kitchen, making dinner and dancing with their kids and sending me messages like, my gosh, you're allowing me to introduce these songs to my kids.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. And it's just fun. It's just family fun, and it's been a great experience. But we need to get together because we're gonna do part 2 of this because I actually want you to DJ.
I'm gonna DJ.
I want to show you how to DJ.
But here's the one thing I need to do. So I know. Well, I'm not gonna assume this for you. I've heard from some DJ friends that the most frustrating thing is like when you're in the middle of a set and then people start requesting songs. Is that true? Is that a pet peeve of yours?
That is true.
Why?
That is true. Because what happens for most DJs, you are literally 5 songs ahead of the audience. Because you're trying to, if I'm playing a record, like say if I'm playing a song that has 110 BPMs, right? But I want to get it down to whatever the latest Drake record is, which would typically be around 95 BPMs, right? So you need these songs to get you down there. Like some DJs will scratch their way down and just, you ever been dancing and like you got this groove going and then somebody will scratch and throw a song on and it's a different tempo and you're like,
what are you doing?
So it doesn't flow well. So usually I'm 5 songs ahead of you because I'm trying to get to a different tempo. So I'll usually like play these records and bring the tempo down slowly. So if someone taps me and asks me to play a song, it's like you're interrupting the flow of where I'm trying to get to. Now, if someone can suggest a song, you know, like, hey, when you get a chance, like, actually, I take that back. I don't really like anyone coming over and bothering me. It's my job.
Like, I feel like there's been a few times where I've asked you to play something and you like, I got you, and you never play.
It's probably true.
That is epic.
There's probably some truth to that.
So okay, so the other thing I was
But
saying.
now that you've acknowledged that, I will never do that again.
No, I think it's good because now I hear what you're saying. Like this is not like somebody that's just playing their Spotify title playlist. This is or Apple Music playlist. This is somebody who is like an art. It's an art form. You also rapped. I ain't seen you drop no records lately, so I'll say rapped past tense. But what about how did you get into DJing? Like, did you fall into this? Was it always a love? Like, how did you get into it?
So DJing as a career, well, I first learned to DJ back when I was like 16 years old.
Wow.
But as a career, it happened in the early 2000s. I was away from the music scene and decided to go to a Q-Tip and Mark Ronson party. And they used to DJ at a place in New York City called Table 50. It was a hot kind of underground spot, held less than 100 people. But the 100 people in there were all kind of cool and not like cool in terms of celebrity. Like, yeah, Leo, DiCaprio would show up every now and then, and Sam Ronson would be there. But it was just like the cool kids, and like everybody was just free and just dancing to classic beats like Blondie, and Tip would play more soulful, so he would typically play like James Brown and like that kind of vibe. And then Mark Ronson would kind of play like old school hip hop, so like De La Soul into like Mobb Deep and like and those types of records. So standing there one day, I couldn't believe that people would dance to older records because at that time I wasn't going to parties. I was like a homebody and just chilling with my friends. And I knew that from that moment that I was going to DJ. And I was at the time I owned a web development company, so I was doing all my marketing for Reebok and stuff for AT&T, and I built Alicia Keys out of the Alicia Keys site, and all the way back to Aaliyah stuff, and
Wow.
did online marketing for Reebok, and I just, the music was calling me, so I gave all of that up, where I was making great money to my business, to make $150 a night to DJ because I felt that passionate about it. Like I felt like that was going to be the thing for me to make a real difference in my life. And honestly, it changed, and I was terrible. I mean, I was terrible when I first started because I used to play the songs from like the top of the record. And most DJs, you're blending records. So if you let a record fade out and just play a song, you're not really playing, you're just pressing buttons. You're not DJing. And I used to do that, and it totally, I was just bad. And one of my buddies, he was the first one to hire me. He had this big party in New York City. And at the end of the night, he was honest with me. He said, you were trash. You played records from the beginning, and you were horrible. You didn't have the flow right. He was just brutally honest.
That's brutal.
But what's beautiful about this was that after that my first big viral party, my social distance dance party, the next day, when everyone was all going crazy, he called me up and he was in tears because he just remembered those days. And he said that it was just beautiful to see where I've come and, how far I've come from to where I am now. And this was a grown man crying on the phone like, bro, I'm just so proud of you. So the same guy that was extremely, just brutally honest, for him to come full circle and just say yo, I'm proud of you, was probably one of the best calls that I received after that day.
That's incredible. I love that. Okay, this is my last question. Then I want to try to see if I can get a request in on a set. My last question for you before we start this is: how do you? Let me see. I'm trying to figure out if I want to ask you more about how many records you have in your mind. Like how many albums, how many songs do you feel like, that you store? Like how we store music on different platforms. How many records do you feel like are stored in your mind?
I mean, I honestly think that I have on here around 35,000 songs.
Wow.
And I can probably sing 35,000 songs.
What?
I just know those records. So part of while DJing. So
oh my God, we're about to have to do a game. I
have the same. Well, no, don't do that kind of thing because it doesn't come to me like that. If you sing lyrics to me, it's not gonna come to me like that. It's usually if I'm in a groove and I just start singing along to something to myself, and that's why I keep doing the same dance move. It's the same two
You
step.
do. You be like.
Because in my mind I'm singing a different song, and I'm like, oh,
That was your dance.
It's like I'm in my zone. And
you was like, Oprah's in the party.
Well, I was leaning because so these are like the behind the scenes things that's going on here. I didn't have a microphone stand. You can't buy one now because we're on quarantine. So I was like going through my storage room, and I found like a cell phone holder. I didn't have anything to attach it to. So I drank a bottle of wine.
Oh my God, I love that.
I attached the cell phone holder to this bottle of wine.
Derek, I have stuff. I could have sent you some stuff in an Uber.
Well, I didn't think
look,
you were
like
here,
I even have this right
you.
now. Look at this. This is on me, but it don't have a cell phone. You can use this. I have a bunch of these little things.
Well, now I do. It didn't.
You like now people sending you equipment and deals and food and all kind of stuff.
Oh, listen, my whole place is just full of alcohol, sneakers, the gear that I just showed you. They sent it to me. Everyone's like, no, let me help you out here. Because this wasn't, like, what I'm doing now didn't start out to be this. It started out for me. I was literally just playing music from here into my cell phone. That was it. I had nothing hooked up. And, after that, I was like, look, man, this actually feels good. And it feels like it could become something, like something serious. And I'm so glad that I decided to like take it seriously, and even though look, I can buy all new stuff, but I just don't have access to it. But I use what I had in the house, which makes it so great to me. Like some of my favorite books are being used to elevate like my gear. Like look,
I love that.
Gordon Parks.
Ooh, and then wait, hold on. Those two things let me see the next one. Because those two things are so dope because I don't know if people all know, but you're also a photographer and a damn good one.
True.
And then, so for you to have like things that are part of your like loves, like music, photography, like that's it. That's amazing.
And that's what I love about this. This is from Karen A. Ween.
Yeah.
And I love that I use everything that I have in my apartment. It all serves a purpose, and it just made me happy to do it this way. It like really made me happy to do it this way because it just looks like I'm home. So the whole point was initially it was called homeschool, and that's what it was. It was just like me finding things around the house, putting stuff together, playing music, and that was the vibe. And now it kind of took off, and I'm still leaving it just like this. Like
I love that.
This gear right here had a huge impact on the world, and it's just kind of cool to see.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's great. So here's my request. So we know that there's the Uptown biopic series is going to come out on BET eventually. I think more sooner rather than later. I hope they're not too stalled by what's happening with this COVID-19 quarantine situation. But I'm a 90s kid. Born in 1979. So I want to know if you can teach me how to do a really dope 90s hip-hop R&B set.
90s hip-hop R&B
So I didn't request the song, so I'm not in trouble. I said I'm not in trouble because I didn't request the song. This is a whole set.
No, I want you to request the songs because I want to tell you the tempos.
Okay. So what about, because I always wanted to be a backup dancer in Mary J. Blige's Real Love video. What about Real Love? Hey!
All right, so Real Love is 97 beats per minute, right? So now you got to find a song that's that same kind of tempo. Come on, Ed.
I know, but
this is part of DJing. You got to be able to think faster than that.
I know, but damn, can we tag team? This is supposed to be my training.
No, but this is part of training.
Okay, well, I'm not going fast enough. What about how fast is Flavor in Your Ear, Craig Mack? How fast is that?
But that's a different kind.
Oh, what about what about Tupac I Get Around? How fast is that?
I Get Around. It's about the same tempo.
Yes! Win!
All right, yeah, that's 96 BPM.
What?
So then you use this fader. You can use this fader to match the tempo. So they're both now at 97.5 BPM, right? So like say if we're playing Tupac.
Oh yeah.
So remember I said you have these cue points. You can have it right. Here we go.
Still climb when the underground when we come around.
Oh! Oh my God, that was so good.
That's dope.
Okay. But now we need another one. What else to go to? I need another one. What about? So you have to do something with Biggie. What about One More Chance? And
okay, One More Chance.
What's your go-to 90s song? Do you have a go-to? Like, I know this is going to set the party off.
No, I don't really like have a go. I mean, what sets any party off from the '90s would be All About the Benjamins. That sets any party off.
That is
I don't
true.
know why.
Okay, so maybe let's do that one then. Yeah.
So do All About the Benjamins with what?
I don't know. How many BPMs is that? You know, I'm a DJ now, so
All About the Benjamins is 90 BPMs, and One More Chance is 93. So you can speed this up some.
What?
Like now, with the same tempo. So if you're doing this, if you're playing Biggie, check this out. Then you can blend it.
Wow. You know what? You might be pretty good at this whole DJ thing. You might have a future in this.
I may have a future in this mixing thing. No, that's awesome though. But
This
when
is so
we're
good.
together in person, that's your next brunch. You have to come. No, you have to stay because I know you have to get all glammed up. So before it is not going to happen. But once it's over, we're going to practice 30 minutes. I'm going to show you how to DJ.
We doing this before the next brunch. As soon as the quarantine is over, I'm going to learn how to DJ because I've been hounding you about this a long time.
Well, now that I have all this gear here, like I'll definitely you can come over to this is really club quarantine right here. So
yeah, no, it sure
you
is.
can come over here, and I'll teach you how to make some magic behind the turntables.
This is so dope. I'm so happy for you because you're such a good human, and to see something good happen for because you were doing something good for everybody else is like that's what it's about. So I just like commend you for doing all this stuff.
And I appreciate you inviting me on your show. This is awesome.
Oh, it's fun. We're doing masterclasses with the best. Oh, you know what? How did I mess this up? Oh my gosh! Obviously, how was I gonna DJ without my? How was I? Why was I? What was I even thinking? I needed a hat.
Where did you get that from?
Oh, you like my hat?
Yo, it's fly. I love it. Actually, I love it.
All right. Well, for this, I owe you a hat. See, I still have the tags. I haven't worn it yet, but I did have. I thought I was really gonna be DJing, so I have a set of 3 over here ready for it. But we gotta get you a hat because you wore all 9,000 of them while you've been DJing.
No, I still have more. I just left my favorite ones out here, but I still have a bunch in the closet.
How many hats you have there?
Someone's overnighting me a bunch of hats now. Like they're like, no, we got hats for you. So
wow.
You know what, man? I'm so happy. Like I just hope this is people use this as a testament to just follow what you're passionate about and follow your heart and do the right thing. You know, and knowing that this made a difference to so many people it's just great. Like great energy that we're all sharing right now, all because of music, the love of music. And we're all celebrating all over the world in our homes, and you know, just shining some light on just what love should really feel like. So I'm glad to be a conduit for that.
That's amazing. What does the rest of this year look like for you if you could have your way? You're like, for the rest of this year, if everything went exactly my way, this is what would happen.
Oh my gosh! I would immediately go on vacation.
Mm.
I don't know if I would leave the country though. I'm scared now. I'm like freaked out.
Oh.
But I would vacation with my kids. I would take some time off and just vacation with my kids, and then I would get into the studio and start making music again.
Mm-hmm.
Like not as a rapper, but to do a project, a DJ project of similar to a David Guetta or a Khaled, but more soulful, not a hip hop project, super soulful. Like what if I got Stevie Wonder in the studio to work with Anderson .Paak, like something like that, like bridging the gap kind of project. That's something that's always been on my mind to be, because I do love the younger cast, and I love some of the newer music, and I'm a big fan of her, and she's a big fan of my DJing. So it's like to have to kind of be like the older guy, the older statesman, to be able to bridge the gap between young and old has always been like a passion of mine. And to not just make a hip hop project, it's like a world project of just great music. So if like career wise, that would be the biggest thing for me. And also to release my book, my coffee table book of photography. That's also another thing that I am really passionate about. And those things are going to happen now, especially with what's going on with what I did online with the music. There are a lot of people who are offering me opportunities to do exactly what it is that I want, and they're doing it not for I mean, of course, everyone wants to be compensated for it, but the people that are hitting me, it's really, I can tell that it's really coming from their hearts to just do something good for me, and I'm just glad that feeling is being reciprocated right now.
I love that. Thank you so much for, again, how you show up in the world. Whether there were 100,000 people watching or not, that's exactly who you are. You're always excellent in your craft, and you are a good-hearted person. So just thank you for sharing yourself with all of us, and for being a really dope girl dad, and all the rest. And I know that you guys are going to get to go on an amazing vacation. And y'all, you should actually cover this vacation, because he took care of us so far throughout club quarantine and the social distancing social and all the rest. So we're here for you and want to support you and continue to see you shine. So thank you, Derek. We appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
His name is DNice, y'all. Tune into the next party. When is the next one? Is it tonight?
I'm taking over the NBA's Instagram handle. So for 2 nights, 2 hours, Club Quarantine goes to the NBA. And yes, I'm super excited about it. And it's actually dope, because it's we're going through the decades. So I'm going to start in the 70s for 30 minutes. And Magic Johnson and like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will be in there talking to people.
What?
Then we take it to the 80s, and they'll find 80s players. Then we'll take it to the 90s for 30 minutes, and then we'll bring it to the 2000s for 30 minutes, and we'll end it like that. So I'm really excited about that.
That
so
is incredible.
NBA players. And this is going to be dope. So make sure you come to Club Quarantine at the NBA. It's going to be dope.
I'll be anywhere you tell me to, brother. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm ready. I'm about to be learning how to,
do it on your phone. Rock on your phone right now.
You like practice on that phone first. Okay. Thanks, brother. I'll talk to you.